Hey guys, welcome to my first Quaranstream. I am Durger time. It is Durger time right now because unfortunately I am locked in this goddamn house. And I'm sure a lot of you are too, so I thought this would be a great time to do another behind the scenes episode, one we haven't done in God knows how long, probably months and months. But what I wanted to do, and I think a lot of you guys have said the same thing, is we have an issue with the AEW roster. Their stats are just wildly wrong, right? So I thought we would just go through everybody. I thought this would be a great opportunity to get the live stream in because I'm going to be relying on you guys to tell me if you feel like we're going too far, not enough. So I want to look at some of the roster. It's probably going to be about like a 30-minute, 40-minute stream maybe, where we go through the roster and try to figure out where their popularity should be, where their skill set should be, because some of them are like wildly wrong. Like Luchasaurus, like what should not be getting F minuses. It's ridiculous, right? So I have access to the chat, see a bunch of you in there already. So we're going to go through the roster and let's highlight some people that we think might be problems, right? And we'll start to go into their stats and just edit it, fix it, so we're not doing something ridiculous. Sound good? I think it sounds good. Let's go ahead and get to it. So, not everyone is a problem, right? Some people are actually over statted, which I'm not really going to worry about that much. Like 55 for Alex Marvez for announcing. I don't know. But we talked about having just some major issues, right, in some of them. So it's all about looking at the broad picture here, and what we want to make sure is that our pushes look right. We're not looking crazy. There's some on here that I think are wrong that we might have to bump up. Or bump down. Like, I'm not sure if Hangman Page should actually be a main eventer right now in terms of auto push. So we might have to look at his stats, because I feel like he really should be floating in the upper mid card, maybe at the top of it. Something even like Dustin Rhodes, I'm not sure either. But for the most part, I don't want to nerf people. I want to kind of more boost some people up, and some of the people in the mid card are looking really, really gnarly. So I figured we would just go through the list, right, and try to figure out who the hell to fix here. There's definitely a couple spoilers. I hired Sami Callihan. But you guys will know that. Everybody else watching the regular series won't find out about that until next episode. But we'll have to look at the roster and see who's looking really gnarly. So I'll give you guys a second to kind of pour in. But in the meantime, what I want from the chat, there's about like 10 of you guys in there now. Give me the list of the people that so far you feel are understated, and we'll look at them first, and then we'll go through the rest of the list. So I know Luchasaurus, probably for sure. Probably some in the women's division, probably Private Party. But let's see who we should look at first. I'll wait for that to kind of come in. I know there's probably a bit of a delay, and I'll just stall for time a little bit as we go. Probably have to look at Uno too, I think might be an issue. But Luchasaurus is probably the first one I want to look at, so we might as well look at him now while we're waiting for everyone to kind of pour in here. If this is also going to be issues, I don't remember. Andrew Devon, something like that. I should probably just look at it, because it's not his real name. Shockingly, Luchasaurus' real name is not Luchasaurus. Austin Draven. That's it. We can pop that up. That should be pretty easy. And, our previous matches that we had with him were seemingly ridiculous, right? Like, he was getting... What the hell was he getting? Got like F- one time. His stats just seemed low. So what we'll do is we'll jump in here. Some of it has to do with popularity, because I think the mod makers probably set him as for popularity based on prior AEW stats, right? So we kind of have to look at tweaking that a little bit. What I like to do is I like to use a flat whenever I tweak these, and a lot of times I do this behind the scenes anyways. I just don't show anyone this, but what I'll do is I'll tweak it based on where I think it needs to be. And that's why a lot of people say, like, what mod are you using? Kind of using someone's as a base, and then I kind of spring off from there. So let's look at it. We'll do a broad look to see if it feels right, and then we'll tweak it a little bit to get him slightly more realistic. So the best way to do this is if you're ever wondering how to modify one of these, a great resource is if you go to Grey Dog Software's forum, and I can link this to someone, and I'll probably post this on Twitter as well, so if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you do that now, because you'll get this great resource. Derek B. has, who's on the forum, who's actually a forum mod, in 2013 did a really in-depth guide on mod making, and he kind of breaks down a lot of the stats and what they really mean. Really helpful, but in terms of balance, he does a lot of good work on popularity, right? So he bases it on the letter numbers, so C+, B+, etc. And his general rule of thumb is if a company's been working for a while, wrestlers that are on the mid card should be at a C, right? And under mid card should be basically a D plus, and that would be for like a WWE level. So you got to modify it based on that. So because we are looking at where we're kind of what cult right now. Let's start him at a C, and to start cutting away there. So let's see what feels right. So C seems way too excessive. So let's bring him down actually to probably a D minus in terms of general popularity. We also should bump him up in Mexico because he did some work over there. And we'll give him like an E there. Looks better, and he's not really familiar with anybody else anywhere else. Maybe a little bit in British Isles because there's some spillover in terms of production. That seems excessive, though. All right, that looks pretty good. So from here, what I'll typically do is I will tweak it based on hotbeds. So realistic wrestling hotbeds. Well, one, obviously, it's in the southeast, so you want that to be a little bit higher because it's just more people are going to be going to the shows there that often, or more people know about it. So it helps to kind of have a slight bonus there. Because of his work in the southwest, he should bump up a little bit as well. Because he was on Lucha Underground, he was in that area. In fact, we're going to give him a little bit higher there, just because people are familiar with him. He was in PWG for a bit. Tri-State will move up a bit, probably to about 40. And I typically take down, unless they're big in Puerto Rico, bump them down here, because we're not really going to get that. Hawaii and Puerto Rico are kind of its own beast when it comes to wrestling promotions, and it really should reflect that when you're doing stats. At least I feel like that. The rest of these look roughly okay. In terms of general popularity, there's probably not any areas that, probably a little bit less in New England by a bit, right? Not an immense amount. Northwest, he's going to have a little bit more because I think he worked for... what's that one company up there? Is it Smash Wrestling? Or what's the one in Colorado, but I think he did some stuff over there. And the rest of this looks okay. So that gives us kind of a good basis of popularity gain, and that's going to give him a huge boost just in terms of his skill there right now, right? It's going to give him a huge boost on his roster. So what I do whenever I'm testing this is I know where I want them to place on my roster. So now the trick is auto push him and see where he falls. So upper mid Carter might actually be too much. So let's groom that back a bit. And we'll push him back. I don't think I would consider Luchasaurus an upper mid Carter. So let's just bump back that down. I might have went too far. But for some of you that have talked about like wanting to make your own mods and things like that, this is kind of how you do it for the most part, and you get an eye for it. I'm not very good at it, but I've done a little bit in terms of popularity. So let me just boost it down to let's say D-. Tweak it just a bit. So maybe we'll just have him just at the cusp of a D+, right? So just at the plus of a D. Gives him the opportunity to maybe get there, but not quite there yet. And we're going to give him actually a bit more, because he's more well-known in the Southwest, so he should have an almost cusp of a D+. Which be right there. Perfect. It looks probably okay. We can live with that. So that probably going to give... I might still make him a upper mid Carter, but we might also have to look at it for when we move everybody else around. It's going to change a little bit too, right? So he's still going to be upper mid Carter. Let's keep on working on him a little bit. Still waiting for your guys stuff to kind of come in into chat. So anybody you think we need to look at from the previous episodes that we think might be underperforming, let me know, and we can go and look at them. We're not necessarily going to look at... Wait, why am I typing... What's his name again? Jesus. Just looked at it and already immediately forgot it. It's the most generic real name. Austin Draven is just such a bad... Presumably is not his real name. It's probably... I mean, his first name is probably Austin, and it's probably like made up this fake last name that sounds like a creator wrestler. All right. So skills are probably where the issue is. His menace is actually pretty good, which is where it should be. I might boost it just a little bit, just to tweak it. Sex appeal seems fine. Star quality seems fine. I mean, he actually doesn't look that bad. A lot of his mat work, basics seem fine. I think probably boost his basics a little bit more. He's been doing it long enough that he has a decent understanding. Psychology's minimal, that's fine. Safety seems fine. We'll boost his safety just a little bit, because he's not really had any major kerfluffles. Selling seems fine. Stamina seems good. Power and toughness. His power level should be a little bit higher. Not by much, but just a little bit. We're not doing massive overhauls here, right? We're just tweaking based on what we've seen. Brawling, just a bit more. Because he's a big dude, typically the brawling stats work well for him. Submissions, aerial is not his thing. Flashiness. The rest of this actually doesn't look that bad. I think maybe it was just a popularity issue. Because I'm not seeing that much bad in here. I maybe boost his microphone just to like a D+. But move his acting down a little bit. and we're not looking at that much of a difference, right? Just tweaks here. I think that looks fine. And what we might do, actually, is at the end of this episode, some of the people that we put in, we might do an episode of Dark real quick, just to see how they feel, to see where they kind of stack up and make sure it seems a little bit better for us. So he's going to end up being upper mid-carder for now. We'll change it and look at it there. Anybody else got anybody that they really want to see change before I go through the list? I haven't seen anything pop up in chat yet, so kind of looking to see what you guys are thinking about. Doesn't look like anybody yet. Wardlow. Let's look at Wardlow right now. Is Wardlow's his real name? Wardlow's his real name. He was born as Wardlow, and that is it. Wardlow has no popularity. For the most part, right? Which probably makes sense. No one really knew him significantly outside of coming to AEW. I mean, he wrestled at other places, but I don't think really anybody's... It wasn't really a big name. At least I never really heard of him. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that, but I've never really seen his shtick. His popularity... seems about right, actually. For not really being well known, this seems not far off. Light heavyweight, maximum size. He could probably get up to. He could bulk up, so we probably should change that a bit. Probably not that far though. Probably heavyweight. Let's take a look at his skills. See if there's anything glaring here. I think the first glaring thing is his menace should be higher. Typically, they do say to make his the menace based on their weight class, but the way they're portraying him should be just a little bit higher. Star quality, acting, charisma, this all seems fine. Basics are strong. Like, I almost wonder if I should go and make Luchasaurus. Now, Luchasaurus's basics aren't as strong as that, anyways. It's actually, this doesn't look horrendous. I think the menace was really the thing that needs, and maybe we'll tweak it just a little bit more. Let's give him just at a halfway between a C and a C plus, because he's got an imposing figure. He's got a good look that he's going for, and I think that works pretty well. Brawling, based on that match that he had with Cody, I think he should be a little bit higher as well. Doesn't need hardcore Purisu. Interesting that Purisu is higher. Typically, American wrestlers have this pretty much non-existent, so I'm assuming Fleisch, when he did it, saw something and decided that was a thing that should have happened. I'm not really sure why. I might remove it a little bit and give him a little bit more hardcore. Typically when I do this, I try to do like a buyback, where if I'm taking one thing from what the mod maker has done, I'm going to remove it from something else. So if I'm taking some down, I'm going to add it up, or vice versa. It tries to keep it balanced. Again, I'm not a mod maker, so it's not really something that I have fine-tuned, and that kind of helps maintain the balance, at least I think, as we're doing it. His popularity now, though, it's been a couple months since AEW started, so I don't know if F should be right. Let's see what he has dipped here. Let's actually, I don't want to lose what he's got here too much, but let's give him a straight E's and E minuses, I think would be better. That's just better to reflect upon the fact that it's been months since AEW has been going on. My guess is that these stats have not been really accurately changed since for the most part, since probably AEW started. Where did he wrestle before? He wrestled in RPW, so a lot of Canadian ones, Northwest West Wrestling. So his Northwest actually should be higher, right? Or Northeast Wrestling. So New England should actually be relatively well known. Not necessarily relatively, but a little bit higher than, let's say, the rest of them. Southeast now, just bump that up to, like I said, for the most part, E's everywhere. Try to add a little variety in it. Probably a little bit less, actually, in Northwest. So we might keep that as an F+. Again, jump in anytime in the chat. I see a bunch of you in there. So if you guys got opinions, I want to hear it. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I am looking and scouring. So, if you guys got opinions on what we're doing, I want to hear it. A lot of times how I run this is I like to think that we are all kind of working together to book these things. I honestly take a lot of your feedback. So I definitely want to hear it now when we're booking it. As we're doing this, if you think we're going way too far or not far enough in certain areas, I want to know. Puerto Rico and Hawaii seems fine. I'm going to bump up his Ontario just a bit, and that probably looks good. And our goal is he should be probably mid-Carter. He was lower mid-Carter. So what did we just do? Did we just lower him somehow? Now he's at opener. Ugh. We might have to look at that. Let's auto push everybody. See what the hell this looks like. What did I just do? Actually, Moxley, Dustin. Okay, Luchasaurus at upper mid card. How did he go down? How did he go down to opener? Maybe I moved him up previously from lower mid carder. I don't remember. So that probably is wrong. So the openers should probably be Kip Sabian, Sonny Kiss, Marco Stunt. Who else should be in there? Because your openers are basically sort of your lower ends. Brandon Cutler as enhancement talent makes sense. We got to look at Jack Evans. Jack Evans' enhancement talent sounds very wrong. He should be at least near Angelico in the mid card. I would even say Angelico and him should both be lower mid card, but we'll have to take a look. So everything seems very wrong here. I think where we have Wardlow in terms of skills seems fine, though. Let's boost his Southeast again just a little bit more. I'm not sure if that is actually... It's a hard judge when you have a cult company, right? Because part of the problem is it's not like AEW actually runs that many shows in their home territory. They're really bouncing around, so it really wouldn't have that much of a sizable difference. But it probably should for the sake of the game. So let's boost this up just a bit. Let's say he's more popular there. Let's actually give him a boost in New England and say people know him a little bit more than that. And same thing for Ontario. Not necessarily going to help us at the cult level, but maybe just tweaking it just a bit for a little bit more namesake. That seems okay. Should be fine. If you're joining us, again, just saying what we're doing is we're going behind the scenes and we're going through the roster of the AEW save, and we're trying to make it a little bit more realistic because the stats seemed very odd. So if you have any recommendations of people we should look at from what we've watched, let me know, and we will take a look at their stats and see what we need to do to boost them up or maybe take them down a notch. I'm relying a lot of you guys' feedback to kind of figure out what the hell we're going to do here. So please jump in the chat. I am in the chat. And we can take a look and see what we can do. We'll probably have to play around with the women's division too, though realistically, the AEW's women's division is not great. But some of them probably need some minor tweaks. I think Nyla Rose probably needs a tweak. Not necessarily in ability, but her menace is probably higher. So why don't we look at that real quick while we're on the subject. And what we could do is just jump in here, do an edit, and see what her stats lie. Again, we might do a basic popularity boost because been on the show for longer, right? In fact, she's one of the stars of the women's division, so she should probably be about there. Where did she wrestle before? She wrestled, let's see. Doesn't really say. So I'm not really familiar where she is, so we'll just do a flat. A D- seems fine. And I won't touch the rest of this for now. Where my guess is where we have a problem is probably, in Menace. Her whole gimmick is that she's bigger, tougher than all the other women, so she really should have a higher Menace score. I think C- feels right. Star quality, charisma, and microphone. This all seems fine. Power, she actually isn't that strong, so that seems fine. I questioned the athletic here. I also questioned the basics. I kind of want to actually lower that a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. I'm not convinced that she has a strong basic foundation of what she's going. And also, this push on Pure Risu seems weird. I'm going to flip this. Because she's not a strong style wrestler. Like, not really at all. I might actually dip this even further and use it to buy a little bit more hardcore. We haven't seen her do hardcore wrestling, but I would imagine she would have the aptitude to do it. Submissions seem fine. Aerial, flashiness. I would probably actually remove some of her aerial ability and optimize her submissions and her mat work a little bit. And actually, I kind of want this a little bit higher. That seems right to me. Safety actually also should be dipped a bit. I would not consider her necessarily a safe worker, so having a B+ seems ridiculous. What do you guys think? I have a suspicion that's way too high, but I'm kind of seeing what you guys think about that. It just seems, I mean, she's kind of dropped people. She's, everything, and it pretty much has had one botch per match for sure. Kind of a matter of time before she hurts somebody. So I don't know necessarily safety seems right. I don't want to go super low. I'm not saying she's an unsafe worker, but I wouldn't necessarily have her at B-. Maybe a C seems right to me. Yeah, that looks good. I think that looks good, actually. Selling seems fine. Athleticism, consistency. Consistency should be lower, too, actually. I wouldn't say that she's a consistent worker. Well, she's consistently bad, so maybe. Um, everything else, though, seems fine. That menace. I'm going to maybe make it actually a C. Just because I definitely foresee her having a Awesome Kong kind of future. Well, everything this here is totally wrong too. She has a passable English, fluent in Spanish. She seems fluent in English. I would imagine she's also, well, I don't know. Is she fluent in Spanish? I don't know necessarily. That seems wrong. She's what, Native American? She's not American Indian. I'm gonna go with passable. I think someone got that screwed up. That might also be affecting some saves because there might be a language barrier. It seemed very odd. So there's those things that you don't notice until you dive in here. That seems good though. And obviously they don't have a roster update on here, so it won't really matter that much. Darby Allin is a lower mid-carder. This is a tough one. This is a tough one because while he's making huge momentum push right now, he's relatively unknown. Would he be considered lower mid-carder, though? Like, I don't really know. Let's dive into his stats. And let's take a look at what he is and see if we can maybe make him a bit more believable. What do you guys think? You think Darby Allin's a lower mid-carder? You think he's higher up? You think we need to update him? Let's see. What do we got? Fluent in English, U.S. wrestler, seems fine. Nothing crazy here. Popularity boost. I would say, again, based on his earliest momentum here, I would give him a little bit higher. Let's give him... yeah. D's not bad, actually. I think a D's not far off. Northwest, I think he has a little bit more. Probably Tri-State because it's smarky. More Southwest because the skater population is going to be more popular. Same thing with Southwest. Probably Midwest, he's not as relatable. Mid-Atlantic's probably fine. That looks good. Skill set. Okay. So he's pretty new. So he's not going to be that strong. Though, the thing that everyone has said is that he is an amazing seller. So we'll put this up to almost an A. Literally, his trainers started him out with, like, this kid can bump like nothing. So his selling seems to make the most sense. Athleticism might also go up more. That seems fine. Power is weak. It's fine. Microphone, it's not strong. His charisma might need a bit of a bump. It's not great on a microphone, but he's got a star presence. Same thing, star quality, I'd say he's up very high. Might even be a little bit higher. And Menace seems... So Menace is an interesting stat, right? The Menace issue is typically... when you make a mod, it's based on the broadness of a person, like how big they are. In my vision is like, can they do a scene where they are imposing? I don't know. I'm not saying he's high, but I think he's higher than F. Maybe there. Maybe an E seems fine. Everything else here seems fine to me. Maybe a bit more in flashiness. Yeah, that seems fine. So let's see where that puts him. It'd be kind of interesting to see if that moves him up the ladder at all. Let's see, upper mid Carter might be too high. We'll move it for now. But we might have to move him down back a little bit. MJF. See, MJF should be a mid-Carter, or upper mid-Carter. Popularity, roughness. Let's just tweak his popularity just a little bit. And the thing to remember is that as we're tweaking a lot of people, everyone else is going to kind of fall in line a bit. So that will kind of help us out. Popularity, I'd probably just give him a flat boost up here. That seems fine. While his stats seem a little weird everywhere, kind of flat. I'm not sure how I feel about the flatness here. I don't really know much. I know he was in... was it North New England a bit? So he should have a bit of a boost here. But that's probably about it. Oh, he was in CZW for a bit too. But that's fine. His stats seemed fine as well. What does that give him? Upper mid Carter. Okay. So we might have to go back to Darby and lower him a bit, but we will look at it as we kind of go through everybody. Lower mid Carter for Jungle Boy seems right. His stats here: brawling, star quality. I kind of want to bump a bit. So let's just tweak that again. A minor tweak. I don't think we're that far off there. Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I think we just need to give him a little bit more star quality. Probably about a C plus. Seems right. Microphone work's not great. Charisma is not great. Aerial seems right. Flashiness, basics. All of this seems fine. I think that all looks good to me. Just a minor tweak there. I think, oh, you know what? Let's just check his popularity. Now we looked at it. Let's see what we feel about it. Tweak it just a bit, I think. Not a lot. But we do want Southeast being a little bit higher. Let's see what that looks like. That might be too much. He shouldn't be much higher than mid Carter, and honestly, he probably should just be lower mid Cart for now. Mid Carter's fine. I actually think they're fine. I think Marco's stunts rated too high. Yeah, no, lower mid Carter seems right. All right, let's do an auto push again, see what we're looking at. And main event scene still the same. Matt and Nick. We might have to get Dustin Rhodes out of there. I don't know if Dustin Rhodes I would consider a main eventer. Luchasaurus, I think we might need to retweak again because I don't think he's I think he's a mid carder. I don't think he's a upper mid carder. MJF up as an upper mid card seems fine. Darby Allin seems a little high. Sean Spears seems a little high. Joey Janela as lower might be a little low. Kip Sabian as opener probably should be lower mid-carder. So let's take a look at that and see what we can do. Let's see here. Popularity is probably the issue. Performance. Oh, no, I want skills. Let's see what your skills look like. It doesn't look intensely wrong. Might boost this a bit. Submissions, aerial, basic, psychology. And none of that looks that bad. It's probably his popularity is the issue. Where is his issue in here, though? So, based in a tri-state area, best known for his work in AEW, cruiserweight style. Yeah, I don't think he's that popular. Maybe he's right. Here, let's just do like a 2-point bump, just to say that being on TV a little bit more has caused him a bit of a bump, but he might actually be an opener. I mean, he's not really on TV that much anyways. His skill set seems fine. Let's see if that bumps him to lower. Ooh, that's too high. I heard to go back in there again. This is the trouble, right? Is that you tweak something just a little bit. Popularity. Just a little bit. This is really, we're now getting into the brass tacks here. Again, still waiting. I haven't heard anybody in the chat. If anybody wants to jump in on who we should update, let me know. I will take your opinion, see if we can do something with them. Wow, he's still a mid-carder. We'll keep it for now. We'll see where it falls in line after the fact. Where is Jake Hager? Jake Hager's upper mid-carder is pretty much perfect. Sean Spears is upper... maybe. Evil Uno as upper, as mid-carder seems fine. Maybe we're looking not horrendous. I think Peter Avalon needs to be an enhancement talent, but let's look at our enhancement talent. What do we have down here? Okay, so Jack Evans, that's right, and Brandon Cutler. Brandon Cutler's probably an enhancement talent, but I would say so is Peter Avalon. So, like a part of me says maybe move Brandon Cutler up to opener. But first, who were we looking at? I just forgot. I want to look at Jack Evans. Jack Evans in no way should possibly be enhancement talent. That is absolutely ridiculous in every possible way I could think of. All right. Let's take a look at what the hell is going on here. First, we'll look at his popularity. Because popularity is fine. Very popular in there. So let's tweak this now. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. But he needs to be much higher in Southwest. mean, not necessarily like immensely higher, but like we have him set at 40s in Mexico. So you're going to see some of that rub off from the Southwest. So probably like 30 is probably pretty good. Same thing, a little bit of runoff from the Northwest, not that much. A little bit more popularity in the Smarky areas. Probably a little bit less in Puerto Rico, probably a little bit more, but not by much. Hawaii, probably non-existent. And then that seems fine. Skill set seems fine to me. That looks pretty much perfect. So what the hell is the problem? Was it just his popularity was all junked up? We'll take a look. He should be at lower mid-carder for sure. Yeah, that looks right. Perfect. Where's Angelico? Angelico might be too high. Mid-carder. Why is he mid-carder? But we'll take a look. I just want to make... I don't mind him being mid-carder or anything like that, even though Jack Evans is probably the better wrestler. I just want to see if anything is really funky here. Not really. That seems fine. I'm not going to tweak it. It doesn't look crazy. Nothing ridiculous there, right? All right, so we're getting close to the end in terms of these guys. Janela, lower mid-carder, actually... Let's see. It seems fine, actually. Maybe a little minor tweak. Again, now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty, but it is important to remember that, you know, a lot of these mod makers have done this before. Really, it got popular. Skill set, let's see. Yeah, that seems fine. Popularity might be a little bit higher. He spent a lot of time in the tri-state area. The idea of him being an E there seems a little crazy. I'd say that's pretty good. New England, a minor bump as well. Mid-Atlantic, a minor bump. Everybody else, let's just give... Well, actually, let's start you a little bit higher. Let's say just at the cusp of E. And from there, we'll move up a bit. Still want that almost 30, I think. Maybe 31.5 sounds decent. These down. This down. Probably even lower. Actually, Hawaii should be pretty much lower. And where were we at? New England also is going to be a little bit stronger. Not immensely. We might have gone overboard there. We will see quickly. But Joey Janela was lower mid-carder. Should probably be mid-carder. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. Brandon Cutler we want to look at. Let us look at Brandon here real quick. Now, Brandon Cutler is probably right placed. I'm just curious what a minor tweak would do. So, skill set. Doesn't look bad. This seems right to me. Brawling is fine. Chain wrestling, decent, not great. His aerial's fine. His flashiness is fine. He's strong basics. Yeah, this looks all fine to me. So then it's going to come down to popularity. Is he popular? A little bit. He's got a little bit more popularity, not a lot. This doesn't look bad to me, though. I might boost a couple more to the E-, but I would say overall he's not really necessarily a popular wrestler, right? He's got some more popularity now, especially with doing the BTE stuff, so that should be represented probably in the areas that he's wrestled in, and probably a little bit more in the Southeast, just a bit, but he hasn't really, he's gone away, he hasn't been out anywhere, right? He's pretty much been non-existent, so that seems fine to me. We will see if that reflects anything. Probably will. We just have to see. He should be opener. He's still an enhancement talent. I mean, I think that's fine. We can always set him as opener. But I think those stats look better to me. Chuck Taylor's mid-carder seems right. Christopher Daniels' upper seems right. Darby, I still think this might be too high now. I don't hate it. It's where I would like to go with it, but might be too high. I mean, this is just what it is. I really wouldn't say Dustin's a main eventer, though, but I don't know what to do there. Uno as a mid-carder seems right. So this is probably where we've got a problem. Where's Mark Quinn? Lower mid-carder. So lower mid-carder seems right to me. But Isaiah Cassidy seems lower. So what is the issue? Is it literally just 1 point away? Is that literally the issue? I mean, that would be easy to fix. I mean, it's feeling really silly to fight over 1 point, but we will take a look and see what that does. No. So what else is the issue? If it's not that and they're about together. Oh, it's really interesting is Isaiah Cassidy being opener is worth more. Though he's also supposed to be an opener. So now we have a bit of an issue and discrepancy. So let's look at both real quick. See what the hell we can figure out here. Okay. So it's probably not the popularity, it's probably the skill set. Now they are weaker skill set. They are weaker in terms of performances. They are pretty new. They debuted relatively recently. Let's look and see if there's anything that's standing out here immensely, right? I don't know if there is. Flashiness seems right. Aerial seems right. Brawling. I think brawling needs to go up just a little bit higher. Brawling's often your kind of everything stat. Again, if we were to go back to that mod maker's tip, what we have in terms of skill for brawling is like, so here I'll read what we're looking at here. For crafting a worker, let's go back down here real quick. Brawling is, two guys facing each other is fairly simple fights. More importantly, how much you can make the fans care about it. A lot of slams, power moves, and throws. Isn't as technical as other matches. So to me, brawling's kind of like your bread and butter. So everyone should be relatively capable of doing it. So I kind of want to move up to a D- here. Definitely their strongest points are the flashiness and his aerial prowess, though I actually would maybe even give them a little bit more here. Charisma seems fine. I actually am going to give them a bit of a boost to charisma. Let's say 61. All right, and let's look at Mark Quinn real quick. All right. All right, let's take a look here. So same issues. I'm just going to bump them up just a little bit. Flashiness seems fine. And that charisma, we're going to bump up again just a little bit. Okay. Where do they now fit in this? Mark Quinn, you were lower mid Carter, you are now still opener. It's going to be a lot harder to fix these guys than I thought. I'm not really sure what to do here to bump them up without giving them just a straight popularity boost. Maybe that's what we'll do. We will just give them a bit more of a popularity boost and see if that will be what we need to do to fix them. Let's say instead of 20, why don't we go up to, well, way too high. Let's do it for 25 flat and see where we come up here. All right. Just updated here. Seeing what you guys are talking about. So Ricky Sanders saying that Kip should be an opener, right? Darby at least a mid card, says James Kyle. So do you guys feel like Darby's fine at upper? I mean, it's going to be where he's going to be anyways. Do we just keep him there? I'm not sure if that that is where it should be. I don't know. It's kind of a hard fit, I guess. All right, we were looking at, did we do Mark Quinn already? Yeah, 25. We need Isaiah. All right. So we'll bump that back up to 25 too and see if that what is good enough. Too high. Too high. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I don't want to import. Whoops, wrong button. Too high. Too high. Like, again, same situation. I don't mind them getting there, but we're now way too high on the list, right? All right. So let's look at like 20. Let's just look at an E. 23-1. And that'll give us an idea of what we're looking at. mid-carder. So we need an E-. Jeez, it's like really hard to... Really looking forward to the new game, because I have a feeling it's going to be a lot easier to balance these type of things when it comes up. 23, so we want 19. So they were at 25. So let's bump them down to 22. This is riveting, I know. It's all the excitement of slowly moving. There we go. So 22.5 is the winner. Someone says Marco Stunt should be enhancement talent. I agree. We can look at that too. Go back to him and see what we have. Or Quinn, we need to boost him back down to 22.5. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. All right. So 22.5 was the winner. That is what we will do. Just double check it. So it should now be a lower mid-carder. No, he's too high. What the fuck? Ah! Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, guys. Just want him to be even with his tag team partner. I don't want him to be the Marty Jannetty here. All right, popularity. Maybe it wasn't 22.5 then. Just do 22. All right. Can't imagine a 0.5 difference really does that, but mid-card, fucking Christ. Get carpal tunnel doing this. So we're going to do 21.5. How about that? Base his popularity there. This is the last time I'm touching it. I'm not doing it again. Perfect. Jesus. Okay, so we were talking about... So Kip should be a opener, is what people were saying. And that's where we have him now at lower mid-carder. I think he... we can tweak him back down. If you guys really think he should be an opener, I can jive with it. I'm not a Kip Sabian fan at all, so it doesn't really matter. So we'll hit him at 20. Here we'll give him like 21.4. I don't hate him at lower though. Opener. Perfect. Okay. Where else do we need to go? Marco Stunt is too high. Marco Stunt is way too high. And I agree with that. We need him basically at enhancement talent. Popularity probably shouldn't be too high. So he was at 20. We're going to dip him down just a little bit. So that seems fine. Skill set. I'd put his basics lower. Put his brawling lower. Chain wrestling lower. Right, get him down to D pluses. Mat works fine. Aerial? No. Flashiness? There's no flashiness here. Here, we're gonna bump him just a little bit. Yeah, Silver Fox says lower mid card if he was in the UK. Yeah, that probably would make more sense. I mean, in America, he's pretty much non-existent. I'm gonna boost up Marco Stunt's selling. It's like the one good thing he has. Gonna lower his athleticism just a bit too. It seems a little crazy. Microphone lower, even lower than D plus. Maybe we could do it. There, we'll make him. Let's go 44. Charisma seems fine. Acting, I'd actually give him a bit of a boost in the acting because I think he's a better character than he is. Let's go 42.99 for both of those. Star quality, no, there's no star quality there. There's no announcing. I'm gonna give him a little bit of color because I could see him in the future maybe doing it. For those joining us, thank you for joining us. We are basically going backstage and just redoing everyone's stats for the most part. We're trying to get a more realistic AEW save because the stats just seemed wildly irregular. And then what we're going to do is we're going to end the show with the AEW Dark match with some of the people that we changed to see if it seems copacetic. Marco Stunt should now be an opener or enhancement talent. Perfect. All right. Let us do another auto push. All right. And let's take a look where that roster is. So our main event is Pac, Chris Jericho, Dustin Rhodes, Nick Jackson, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Matt Jackson, Cody, and the Exalted One. We didn't touch Hangman Page, but just moving everything around put him to where I think he should be, which is upper mid card. Luchasaurus is too high. Got a new person here at all. Nashakur, thanks for joining me. Hope you like what you see. This is a weird episode to start watching because we're just doing some behind the scenes stuff, but I thank you for joining us anyways. What do you guys feel about Luchasaurus? Where should he be? I feel like probably mid card. Do you think upper mid card's too high or unreasonable? Like, where do we want to put him? Same thing, Joey Janela. And Jimmy Havoc, I feel like, is too high, too. I think Jimmy Havoc needs to be lower. Let's lower Jimmy Havoc for now. Jimmy Havoc's not that popular in America, and the way they are utilizing him realistically, I feel like he's almost an opener, but I feel like we should probably put him as a lower than where he is. Maybe a lower mid-card. Yeah, Luchasaurus should be mid. I agree, Silver. So let's tweak that. So I feel like 27's way too high in America. Like, British Isles seem better. I think I'm just going to tweak it just a little bit. No, that's way more than a little bit. Let's get him at 24 with a higher in Tri-State. A little bit less in Puerto Rico, a little bit less in Hawaii. Where has he wrestled a lot of? He's done some New England work, so I think he should be a little bit higher there. We might even make them Because what's he in the UK right now? He's a D minus. That looks right. I'm not going to change the stats in terms of skill set. So I think the issue is just popularity. So ideally, I think he should be mid-card or lower to mid-card. So it should be lower mid-card. Still not there. Let's tweak it again. It's going to be difficult here. He's a tough one just because I just feel like he doesn't have that footing in America. So let's get him at a 22. 22.8 seems not horrendous. We'll move him up a little bit here. Like, he just doesn't have that. He's just not been around here enough to really make an impact. New England will give him a little bit of boost. And we're going to bump down everything else by like 2. Except for Hawaii, which is going to tank, and so is Puerto Rico. Okay. I think just straight 20. Maybe we'll. All right, let's do 25. 20.5. Just don't want to go too low on him because it's kind of underselling him. And obviously, this is just setting a base point. Based on what we do is going to drastically change where they are. But I just was personally finding that the numbers did not seem realistic when we were playing, right? We were getting like an F+ with Luchasaurus, which seemed crazy, and other people were just not getting what we needed. That seems fine. All right, let's lower it. I just as long as he get him in the lower mid card, I don't need him to go any lower. Oh, too low, too low, too low, too low. He's not an opener. I don't think he's an opener. That's way too low. Oh boy, run away. All right, let's bump him back up. Let's do 21 with a boost here. Down. It's riveting, I know. I apologize. Whoop. Just a little bit here. That was too much, though. Way too much. There we go. A little bit more in Tri-State. There we go. Okay. Now let's see where we're at. Jimmy. Still an opener. Okay, so we got to tweak. This is going to be a difficult one to tweak. I don't think he's an opener, so I'm not comfortable leaving him there. He's not been on as much as he should have, and he's definitely has a ceiling, but I don't know if I would necessarily call him an opener of a show. He almost could be a good villain at the end, right? Let's see what that looks like. Let's just do flat for now. You can always come back in and tweak it later. And again, I posit, and it's still too high now. Posit it to you guys. Anybody else out there you feel is under or overrepresented on the card right now that we need to lower? We can go back and look at the stats real quick. No, what am I looking for? I'm looking for popularity. Okay. So the thin line here, we're going to do 21.5 flat. I'm not going to even tweak it. I just want to see. Jimmy's max mid card. Yeah, I agree. Lower mid card, perfect. There we go. All right. I mean, he doesn't have many years left anyways in terms of his skill. All right. Hangman Page should be upper mid-carder, still right. It's perfect. Let's auto push. Let's look at what we got. All looks right. I still am not liking Dustin Rhodes at main eventer, but I think that'll just correct itself over time. I'm not going to lower his popularity because that'd be stupid. Luchasaurus, we need to fix. Jake Hager seems right. Pentagon, Hangman. Darby Allin, I still am not sure if I want him in upper but I feel okay with it, actually. Or QT Marshall. Great question. Where the hell is QT Marshall? QT Marshall. Is QT Marshall even on the roster? What's his real name? He might not actually be on the roster right now for some reason. Yeah, I don't see him. Is it Michael something, right? Michael, there he is. He's just set as a road agent. So he's not even a wrestler. If he was a wrestler, I mean, if he was a wrestler, he'd be a opener. We probably don't need him as a road agent, but we could probably set him as an enhancement talent. Might not be a bad idea. How many road agents do we have? Too many. We don't need that many. Yeah, let's move him over. I'm sure he'll love being an enhancement talent. Let's see. Oh, were we not even able to? I can only push him as a road agent, so we can't even fix him right now. Nothing that we can do with him. All right. Anybody on here you guys are seeing that you're like, whoa, that's way wrong? So right now everything looks about right. Like, I'm actually pretty happy with, like, Peter Avalon probably should be enhancement talent versus an opener. That might be one of the ones. Sonny Kiss is exactly where it needs to be. Alex Reynolds is a lower mid-carder is weird. But I'm not really worried about it. Like, I don't... Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is an enigma. What the hell do we do with Orange Cassidy? His popularity has been skyrocketed, but I I don't like mid-carder? What an enigma to stat him. I don't know where I would put him. I don't think he should be lower mid-carder, though. Let's bump the stats. Let's see where... I mean, you guys know me. If it was up to me, he'd be main event. And technically, he's the most over person on their roster. So we definitely need to boost his popularity. In the meantime, I want to look at his skill set. So I feel like there's some issues with his skill set here. Mid-card is what Silver Fox says. Probably right there. His flashiness seems way wrong to me. Because pretty much the thing I would say about Orange Cassidy is that he's flashy as fuck, right? His whole gimmick is about looking as flashy as hell. So I'm thinking we might need to tweak this. What do you guys think? What are we looking at here? In the meantime, let's change this because there's some problems here. Perfect. Done. Okay, maybe not that far. Yeah, charisma needs a boost. Might have went too far on star quality. Charisma definitely needs a bump though. Probably a microphone can go down a little bit. He's not bad on it, but he doesn't use it that much. Star quality, let's give him like a B. Actually, I don't hate that. Let's give him right at a B. 100 star to do it. Okay, fine. Fuck it, I'll do it. Just for you, Silver Fox, I'll do it. I think we need to move his flashiness up, and I think we need to be at a C, probably a C plus. Maybe even higher. Almost a B. Like, his entire gimmick is that he is really, really flat. I don't hate a B. Let's keep a B. Let's keep a B. So everything else seems fine. I'm gonna keep us here, just to be reasonable. No, screw it. I am gonna keep it at 100%. We probably need to boost his popularity too. So not a lot. Okay, I just want to do 25, and I want to see what that looks like. Oh god, this is gonna go so bad. Olsen and Orange Cassidy's gonna be the most over person in the entire roster. Mid-Carter seems fine. Seems perfect to me. All right, definitely gonna be Mid-Carter. No, rated below average for his gimmick. So I don't think this gimmick is totally wrong. We need to give him a new gimmick at some point. It needs to be legendary. Can I just edit that? Can I edit a gimmick in here? I don't know if I can. I don't remember if you can actually edit a person's gimmick stats. Performance. What's his performance? Comedy performance, 92. Yeah, that's probably what we need to do, is just give him that. Give him a little bit of cool, too. All right. Anybody else? I actually feel pretty okay here. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. All that looks fine. Luchasaurus we're talking about, we might need to move him down. I think Luchasaurus is too high. We went too hard on Luchasaurus so early. Wait, 8. What the fuck is his name? Austin Devlin Dreven. What a dumb name. All right, take a look here. Let's see what we got. Ringtone's the loudest in the world. Jesus Christ, scared the fuck out of me. All right. Lucha needs to be mid. I agree. I think that's exactly where he needs to be. That was the plan, because he went from lower. I think we just went too high on him. It's probably popularity. Yeah, popularity is way too high. So we need to be back down to 20, 24 or so. Let's see what that looks like. Luchasaurus. Mid-Carter. Perfect. Seems fine to me. Not going to get too into the nitty-gritty there too much. Oops. No, I want lower. Mid-Carter. There we go. Recommended Mid-Carter. Perfect. It's no worries. Welcome to the party, Potsy. We're going to probably do an episode of Dark to end this, as long as the roster looks good. Alex Reynolds, still not sure about that, but I'm really not gonna bother fixing it. I think I'm fine with it. Uno, let's talk about Evil Uno and talk about the Dark Order. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno are Mid-Carter. Does that feel right to you all? Yeah, it only affects the current game. When I'm editing this, it's not the full database, so unfortunately. Now, a great feature of 2020 when it comes out is that you can actually export a current save as a database, which sucks that I'm doing all this, and when we transfer over to 2020, I'm going to have to do it all over again, but it is what it is. It's kind of a bummer. Shawn Spears is still upper Mid-Carter. All right, so a couple I'm not sure about here. Darby Allin, should he be upper or should he be Mid-Carter? Shawn Spears, should he be upper or should he be Mid-Carter? I'm fine with MJF at upper. I think that makes the most sense for where they are. And then the Dark Order, I feel like mid-card is right. I think mid-card's right. I don't have Brody Lee. I actually never hired Brody Lee. Still contemplating in the game if I'm going to. Right now, we are wildly diverging because we have Matt Hardy as the Exalted One. And we are doing all different storylines. So I might bring Brody Lee in, might not. Not sure yet. Yeah, the lack of matches is the problem. I think I'm going to keep him there for now. I don't like Sean Spears at upper mid-carder, Sean Spears, but I'm going to keep it just because we don't have that many upper mid-card. I think it's fine for now. I think this is a good starting point. Everything looks good. I think we did it, guys. I think everything looks exactly where we want it to be. Peter Avalon as an opener is probably the only other one I would fix. Like, I actually rather Brandon Cutler be opener over an enhancement talent, but that's fine. Let's go and do Peter Avalon real quick. Don't cut that out of context. Thanks. Let's see what we got. Bring Brody Lee as Matt's bodyguard. It's not a bad idea. Definitely something. I could definitely see it. I don't really know if I like Brody Lee as the Exalted One, so I actually preferred Matt Hardy as the Exalted One, so that's why it's wildly different now. Maybe something we could do. We can look at maybe bringing Brody Lee in. Could be fun. Now, let's see what we're looking at here. Popularity. This seems way too high to me. Way too high. So let's bring it down just a little bit. Let's just see where that leads us. Raven as the manager of Brody Lee. That could be pretty cool. I don't think I have Lance Archer in, though. The new hires I have are interesting. And I'll share it with you guys because they're not hired. So obviously I got the Revival in. I also got Sami Callihan because I was going to do something with Callihan and Moxley, kind of bring in the Switchblade conspiracy for a bit, and possibly have them, feud later on. I thought it'd be kind of interesting. I wanted to not add a lot of people, and only slowly move people in. Just because I thought it'd be more interesting to use the talent that we have. Because I feel like a lot of saves, what ends up happening is you kind of just pull the people you love, and then it just becomes the same homogenized mess. But I don't hate moving one or two people in at a time. So we could probably bring Brody Lee in at some point. Okay, Peter Avalon. Enhancement. Still too high. I mean, I don't hate it. I just feel like he only loses. So I just feel like it's way too high. Bring the Bullet Club in. Yeah, like a hardcore match with Sami and Moxley would be a lot of fun. All right, so Peter Avalon. What the hell are we? Not Pete Dunne. Oops. All right. I'm gonna just dash him because I don't think he's even that popular where he was. I feel like no one ever really talked about Peter Avalon at all. Sorry for the 3 Peter Avalon fans out there, but I mean he was in TNA sort of, but. I don't know. I don't know. Enhancement talent. Perfect. There we go. We gutted him, but we got him to where he needs to be. Now let's take a look. Auto push for the last time. No to Peter Avalon. Too bad. All right. What are we looking at? So from the bottom, Nakazawa, Cutler, and Avalon as enhancement talent. Kip Sabian, Marco Stunt, Sonny Kiss, John Silver, Scorpio Sky. Oh, you know what? If John Silver is an opener, we should probably look at his tag team partner, Alex. They're so far close. They're lower mid card and openers, not in the world. I think Silver's the one of 3 Peter Avalon fans. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tweak this though. I think it's fine. I think this looks good. I'm happy with this. I said the only thing I'm not a big fan of is Dustin in the main event, but that's just because I think that's not where he needs to be positioned. Piper Niven would be a good pick, and I think we have to look at bringing in some women's wrestlers. Definitely at some point we're going to look at the Japanese wrestlers and who we can pull from like Stardom and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and let's book a episode of Dark with these guys and see how it feels. None of it matters. Okay, let's go ahead and fast forward and see what we got. Real excited. I upgraded my RAM the other day for this gaming laptop, and it is moving so much faster. It's ridiculous how much faster both editing and these loading times are. So makes it go real good. Piper Niven, I felt like she didn't get her fair shake in WWE when she was in the the Mae Young. Great wrestler, good look, very different from everybody else. Yeah, Dustin is upper mid card. He needs to be, right? Like it's just doesn't make sense. But I don't want to cut his popularity. Is the problem. So I think it'll solve itself over time as the other main eventers get more wins than him and more popular. But I think at a starting point, I think we're in a good place. Christ. Yeah, sure. That's fine. I don't mind that. Moment you change them. All right, so Pat got loaned to ROH. Dawson and Dash left WWE, and they've joined as their new people. And Big Swole got hurt at Shine. Boy. All right. Well then. Oh, let's see what the Revival are going to be on the roster. Upper mid card. Okay, I feel like we've done a good job because that was exactly where I was thinking they should be. Main eventer for Dash though. What the fuck? Whoa. As Nash says, is respect points affects an amount of wrestlers while signing them. Yeah, I don't remember how respect necessarily works. I think it's mostly for the AI of who an AI owner or booker is willing to hire. I should do more live streams. I should. I don't often do it just because it doesn't really fit in, but I'm definitely planning on doing a bunch more maybe corn streams for the next week. It could be a lot of fun. This is I don't know about that. I don't know about you being a main eventer, Dash. I don't know about that, man. I'll put you there so you won't complain. But Dash, you should definitely be an upper mid carder. I don't. Why are you so much higher than Casey McKnight? I also changed your names to try to make it more realistic. They're also not going to be the Revival. They are going to be #FTR. Dash. All right, I wasn't going to do this, but we are going to adjust his popularity by a little bit. Wait, what's his real name? It's like something. Daniel Marshall Wheeler, is that what he goes by? No, Stephen Walters is what he goes by. We're gonna have to tweak him a little bit because I wouldn't mind if they were in different tiers, but there's no way he can be a main eventer, while the other one is not. Is that what it is, Silver? It's for locker room leaders? That makes more sense, actually, than what I was saying. That would make more sense. All right, so we're just going to 44. Boom. Perfect. We'll make them exactly the same. And theoretically, that should make them upper mid-carder. Perfect. Because they should have the same popularity. I don't know why. It might have been something that happened in the save before I hired them, but for time being, we'll make them exactly equal because they should have the same popularity going in. That's good. Let's go ahead. Keep on going to dark. They are the top guy. I mean, listen. I don't hate the idea of the Revival being main eventers, but they both would need to be main eventers. They are going to have probably a huge feud with the Young Bucks. So Young Bucks are considered main eventers. They'll get there, you know. Nash says maybe because he punched the guy who attacked Bret Hart. Maybe gave him just a tiny bit more popularity going forward. This is very possible. All right, this is the moment of truth to really see if we feel like these guys are fitting. And what we're going to do is we're going to book Dark. This is one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of live streams. I don't like booking the show in a live stream. I feel like it's a little boring to you guys. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not worried about the money right now. I just don't want them to be unhappy, to be honest. I always find that it's a little hard to book, especially with the way I do it, because I tend to do so much like extra writing and stuff involved. It can be kind of boring, maybe. A lot of people out for angles. Should be fine. Do have a locker room incident. Looks like a wrestler's court. Oh, Christopher Daniels has been passing on tips to his protege, to MJF. Perfect. Will Metal continue to try to boost something here? Let's see, Darby Allin and Cody. Cody's not here. Then Chris Jericho. No effect. That's fine. We're gonna be USA. We're gonna have 900 people. Oh, it's gonna be a really tiny show. That's fine. All right, so who did we change? We want to look at. Let's do a trios match first of all. And in that trios match, we will bring in Jurassic Express and Marco Stunt. And we will bring in the Private Party. And who else did we tweak that we might want to see? Oh, you don't want to learn from me, Silverfox. I'm not the best booker. Here, we'll put in let's make this a main event. Let's put in Darby Allin. All right. So we're going to do 15 minutes. So the wins will matter. And what I do want to do, let's give Cassidy the win, and we'll let Marco take the loss. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep strong Jungle Boy, and we're also going to have Lucha dominate. So there'll be a moment in the match where Luchasaurus just runs roughshod on them most, and then Jungle Boy will look good. Marco could take the pin, and it'll give the tag teams something to work with. We'll also keep an open match because they have different varieties of fighting styles, so it'll make them a little bit more balanced. Everyone gets the same amount of offense, and we will do a pinfall victory. Regular should be fine. It's probably not going to be the main event. Who else did we adjust? Let's see. We changed Hangman. No, we didn't change Hangman at all. We did change Jimmy Havoc and Joey Janela. Let's do a Joey Janela Jimmy Havoc match. That could be fun. Neither of these guys have been in a match for a bit. He's a dinosaur. Yeah, I mean they will all die from that. Let's have Jimmy Havoc win and see how Joey Janela responds to that, and that will give us an idea of whether we balance this. We're just going to have it be a wild brawl, or let's go mayhem. Let's go full mayhem, and we'll do like a flash pinfall, so it's not that bad. Joey's fine with it, so it should be fine. We need to work the crowd match. So what we're going to do is see how they feel, because we just updated them. And we're going to give a win to our new tag team, the beginnings of something. And if you haven't watched my AEW, you'll find out more about them, but they have a pretty interesting dynamic. They're building up almost like a Four Horsemen thing. We're going to give MJF the win. Don't care who loses. We'll do open match again, and we'll do a pinfall. Brendan and Crip. Okay, oh yeah, because we changed both of them. We should throw them both in there too. All right, so we'll use that as a warm-up. And let's get Brendan Cutler and Kip Sabian. So I'm going to do something sneaky. I'm going to give Brendan the win, because I wanted him to be an opener, not a enhancement talent. This is going to go really poorly, but giving him a win might be something that actually fixes him for us. We do need a storytelling based on our requirements, so we'll use this as a storytelling. And we will do a decisive win. Okay. Shouldn't be a problem. We need some story beats. We're not going to go crazy here in terms of story beats. Here, I'm going to actually move this down to 9 minutes. So what we'll do here is probably just set up some basic storyline beats of Brendan Cutler, give them some opportunity to interact, which will also probably give us a boost. Brendan's best attribute's going to be probably his entertainment, right? Not really. Well, we'll give it to you. Kip Sabian's best attribute to appeal to this. So we are talking about behind the scenes here. What I intend to do is I'll try to appeal to their best attributes to try to get the best rating. So if you're booking on your own, typically the best way to do it is go on this freestyle angle, look at the settings, look at their stats, and find where you kind of want them to be. Obviously, as their overness is both at 20, if we book them at overness, they're going to get like a D, which is what we don't want. But yeah, so their other stats aren't as good. They're better. So like we might do a microphone work. So actually, let's do the opposite here. We'll do microphone entertainment Sabian insults, and then Cutler and D&D on the mic. Perfect. We'll do this as a 4-minute thing. How many minutes do we have? We have about 10 minutes, so we might need to lower some of our matches here, match lengths. So let's lower this a lot more, make it like a 5-minute match, because we're going to need to balance this out properly. And we'll do a thing afterwards where MJF and Shawn Spears celebrate. So probably entertainment's what we're gonna want, and probably entertainment for both. MJF and Shawn Spears celebrate their win, insult the fans. Again, Dark, we just do rudimentary because it's not story beats. So we'll give them 7 minutes. And the reason why I do 7 minutes is that if any segment that's 7 minutes or more, I believe it's 7 minutes or more, with another person will give them boost. So they could possibly share basically tips, and they'll share popularity that way. It's there to prevent you from just doing like a 1-minute segments with mega stars and then them getting like a rub. So since Shawn's is slightly more popular MJF, or they have different skill sets, we can kind of have them bounce around there and get some rub between, and some synergy, I should say. That's not nice, Kip. Yeah, I know. Kip Sabian's just a jerk. I think we're good here, so let's run it and see what the stats are. Go ahead and book it. So, looking so much better already. Immensely better, actually. C minus 53. We were getting, like, crap with them earlier. And also, Angelico and Jack Evans showed strong chemistry. Jack Evans is improving performance. So I'm saying that I think these guys are looking right to me. That looks pretty strong. Again, entertainment segment did pretty well. David Benoit would be interesting. Is he available in the game? We'll have to take a look at that. Tully Blanchard helped Spears during the segment. Got the crowd hotter. Looking good. Everything's looking strong here. Havoc. So this is where we're still weak, right? Joey Janela got a 39. Jimmy Havoc got a 42. This probably is right. It does seem a little under, but I think over time we'll balance them out. Overbooking match didn't sell well with the fans. It might have been the mayhem, might have not done it. I was hoping that the work the crowd would have played into it, but I don't know. This we knew was going to be bad because both of them are low on the card, but I kind of care more to see what their match rating is. Match between jobbers on the main show. Yeah, I booked that wrong. Their ring performances are strong, so it is what it is. I wonder if the win here will give Brandon Cutler out of enhancement talent. And about that had subpar heat, little heat, or subpar wrestling, little heat. Darby defeats Private Party. Let's see how this looks. Marco had a 40. Lucha had a 39. Much better than the 14 he was getting, so that's fixed. Yeah, I know. Jungle Boy, Darby, everybody else seems about right. Everything seems good here. Except Darby seemed a little bit off his game. So, not a horrendous showing. I'm curious to see if Brandon is better off now. That'll be the key. So I'm not quite sure if he's looking like he made a win here, and if he'll boost up immediately or not. Nah, he's still opener. But so that's the trick, because I don't really want him to just be an enhancement talent. I might just make him an opener, honestly, and and be done with it. He'll be super happy with it. That was my mistake to put them together, though. But I did want to play around with them. So, overall, I think we have everything right sized, though. I think this looks pretty good to me. I'm like really happy. So thank you all that joined to work it. We didn't do much with the women's division except for Nyla. Maybe we'll tweak Britt offline, but I think for the most part they were right. They're just weaker, unfortunately. So I think that was good. If you guys liked this, let me know in the comments. We might do some more behind the scenes stuff for other shows. Again, I don't necessarily want to do live streams for TEW just because it doesn't really work with my booking style. Maybe we'll do something else in the future. But I definitely had a lot of fun doing some behind the scenes stuff. So hopefully you guys liked it too. I think I'll leave you guys off today. So thank you for joining me. See you next time. Expect a regular episode of AEW in the wings coming shortly. I'll see you around, guys. Thanks for joining me.